Hello, so I'm Leslie. I'm here to speak to you a little bit about what art therapy is and to introduce myself, talk to you a little bit about my channel. And so hello everybody. My channel is called Creative Living, with the idea of doing things that are creative and active combined together, in my view, are essential for well-being and mental well-being as well as physical well-being. And this fits with my interest as an artist and my role as an art therapist, as well as my passion about the outdoors, hiking, going on different adventures and different running, things like that. So first of all, I wanted to introduce what art therapy is. So if you already know a little bit about art therapy, then this might be a bit more revision. But if not, if it's a completely new thing, then you're in the right place. So as you can imagine, art therapy is about art. So the key with that, the important thing, is that there's the way that we're using the materials as well as the image. So I'm just going to jot that down here as like the image. And then usually when a client has therapy, they would like go and meet a therapist, or they might have individual therapy, or they might work in a group, like group of different people together. So we would have the client and then the therapist. And what this means is that it's not just about the art, is it? It's about the images, it's about the client, and it's about the therapist all together. So what that is the triangular relationship. And that's really key in art therapy. That is one of the reasons and the thing that makes the difference between somebody that can use art by themselves and find that therapeutic, and somebody that would be actively engaging in a therapeutic process and actively participating in therapy. So it really is about that triangular relationship. And if you took out any one of these, then there would be kind of differences in how things are working. So there may be times when an image isn't used, that there may be more imaginative or more kind of visions, and it may feel like there isn't an image in front of you, but there will be more metaphors and symbols surrounding that. So what I was thinking I would want to explain to you today are some of the things that people might think about if they were attending an art therapy session for the first time. So I would say that a lot of people become really quite nervous when they're going to meet somebody for the first time, especially when they are going to have therapy, when they feel that there are some difficulties in their life, and they might feel a lot of pressure to speak about those difficulties, and they might feel uncertain about what's going to happen. So what I would try and do is like put that person at ease, to be able to like talk openly with them and be able to get to know them a little bit. So the first session will be quite a low intensity, very much going at the person's pace, like that, like person-centered approach. So going at that person's pace. And if there was anything that arose in sessions that was difficult, then that could be addressed together. And part of the first session, what I would be encouraging people to do is to think about like their experiences of art and the materials that they've used. So I'm just going to like introduce different materials for somebody. So it might be that we have a little pen mark, or some people might find that doing drawings and doing like different things can be helpful. I'm going to draw on here actually. So at first it might be that we would spend the first session experimenting and playing with the materials. So I commonly use an activity that is coined by like Donald Winnicott, and it's called a squiggle game. So there's all sorts of varieties of this. So this one would have the first person, usually the client, makes a mark, and then the next person would find where the end is and make an extra mark going along. So it feels like this is quite a messy activity. Some people might talk to me about how they worry that they are not very good at art, or they worry that they would normally use a picture to copy from, or they might normally like trace, or really want to kind of have an image accurate. And this is where like some of the myths would be explained then, that it's not about being able to draw accurately, it's not about making a piece of art that looks like impressive, or that looks like it would be able to hang in the gallery, although that may be important for a person. It's more about the way that the art materials are being used. So I would speak to somebody about things like, if you press on really softly and small marks like this, then that might feel a certain way. That might feel different to if you were to do really big marks like this and quite pressing on heavily. Something like with a lot of energy, and sometimes kind of going and using some of the same shapes. Like somebody could maybe copy this and think, actually, I struggle to regulate my emotions. I find it hard to stay on a path like this, and sometimes my emotions might be steady like this, and then all of a sudden they are really dysregulated and really struggling to manage their emotions. So being able to explore that through using the art materials and through playfulness and experimentation, for instance, that can be a way of really connecting with somebody, and for them to be able to go, I start off with a straight line, and then it all goes wobbly and it all goes wiggly, and then I start off with a really smooth wiggly line and I can control it. My emotions match that line, but then suddenly something happens and I feel that I can't control my emotions anymore, and suddenly it feels messy. Sometimes a picture can end up not looking like what's expected. Sometimes it can be quite a messy experience, like lots of drips and lots of like splodges and splatters. And this is what I would call an embodied image, where there's an opportunity to express whatever arises, whatever emotion is there, whether it's something that has been spoken about, or whether it's something that has just surfaced from the unconscious mind. It may have just been surfaced, and really thinking from a sensory point of view as well. So some of these, like spontaneous marks, can very much be an embodiment of a feeling. Some people really struggle to express their emotions in a cognitive way. Just people really find it hard to find the correct words. Sometimes there just aren't any words to express what that feeling is, because it's such a complicated experience. But all of a sudden, somehow, through the use of materials and through the relationship that is present, an image can surface, and this can be the beginnings of somebody really connecting with their feelings and connecting with the bodily sensations that work with feelings. So that's a sort of thing, just as a general introduction. There's all sorts of things that can come from this. So is it all the paint's dripping? We could be thinking about kind of what that might be like for somebody who has spoken to me about liking their artwork being neat, might find that quite distressing, and that it might not be appropriate to go instantly into something that is going to be messy, but gradually building that up might be more appropriate. So for me, it's about getting to know the person that I'm working with and really giving that opportunity to find what works and to find the materials that work best. It may be that it's not about the concrete materials like this, like chalk, pastel or paint. It might be that it's more about objects and more about pictures that can be used and reflected on, or it might be more about like visualizations, and that's the image that comes up in the mind. So there's all sorts of kind of different ways, and I will speak more about the different techniques that can be used. And in my channel there is a playlist of art therapy techniques, so I've already put a few on there, but hopefully that's given you a little bit of an introduction as to what art therapy is. I'm Leslie. I've enjoyed making this video today, and hopefully you will find it useful. And thank you for watching. If you like my things, subscribe and let me know what you think. Bye bye.